would say they don't believe in mental health. Like, they just think that what's that rubbish, you should be happy.
You're not allowed to make mistakes. If you breathe one pass out, you're terrible.
Mental health what?
Every boy has the same dream, but not every boy gets the same support. Football is the dream for thousands of young boys across the UK. The academy system is the gateway to glory. But behind the bright lights, something darker often lurks. Mental health struggles, silence, and stigma. And for young African heritage players, the pressure is even greater, driven by culture, expectation, and fear. 99% of academy players are released before signing a professional contract. This is Shane, and at just 18, he's living the academy life that so many dream of. But behind closed doors, it's not always what it seems. From early mornings to constant pressure, Shane's routine is intense. The schedule, the expectations, it leaves little room for anything else. What does a typical week in academy football look like for you physically and mentally?
Right, so physically, on a Monday, wake up early in the morning, going for breakfast. After breakfast, we normally just chill in the change rooms. That's where like we're with our teammates and we're talking. And then around like 10 o'clock, we'd go to the gym, do some stretching and stuff. And then we would head out onto the pitch for around like 11 o'clock for like a 2-hour session, sometimes 1.5, depends. And then we would have lunch. After lunch, just go back to the change rooms, just chill for a bit. Then we'd head to the gym around 2, do an upper body session. Monday and Tuesday is kind of the same, but instead of doing upper body session on Tuesday, we'll do a lower body session. Thursday, it's the same again, but in the morning we'd have analysis. So the team that we're playing on the weekend would go through their clips and see like how we can exploit like their weaknesses and stuff like that. Friday's a bit of a lighter session because it's getting closer to the game. So we'd do some like walkthroughs and stuff. That's where the starting 11 normally gets announced. Saturday is normally the same, just like a short 1-hour session. And then Sundays where we go into the match.
Shane is still in the system, but what happens when it all ends? When the calls stop, the boots go quiet, and the dreams slip away. That's where Ruyi's story begins. For many young players, deselection feels like rejection, not just from football, but from everything they built their identity around. As a former Reading Academy player, Ruyi knows firsthand what it's like to be released and forgotten. How did you feel when you were released? Did anyone support you during or after that time?
No, so I didn't get any support. I was playing rugby in my school, and I literally got knocked out. I ran into someone's shoulder that day, and I literally was in the nursing place. And then that day, Reading called my dad and said that they needed me in. I knew what it was. I already knew I was getting released before that weekend. Before that, I got called in. I literally cried on the football pitch. Like after training, I just cried because I said I just don't feel myself. I'm just not enjoying this. Like the fact that for that season, all the boys, they get the new kit, training kit, suits and everything. And I was one of the only ones that hadn't been given it. So I kind of knew what was coming. So when they called me in, it was the academy manager, RIP, my coach, and two of the directors of Reading. And I just got told that I'm not getting offered a new contract, and yeah, they'll be releasing me, and that I can. They put me out of training, so I was training. What happened? They say you can either go back out of training or you can obviously go home, but we do wish you the best. We're not going to offer you a new contract, and we just feel like we're not seeing the best version of Ruyi here, and feel like we can see that at another club. And yeah, after that, that was literally all the correspondence aside from Reading. I didn't get any support afterwards. I didn't speak to anyone at Reading again. I didn't get any calls or texts or checkups. I didn't get extra trials either. The only call I did have actually, the only person that actually did call me was Bukayo Saka's dad. Because that week we were meant to play Arsenal, and usually because obviously Bukayo used to play up, his dad would take both of us to the game, and obviously they'd go to the game, they hadn't seen me, so obviously Bukayo's dad, was asking, where were you? We didn't see you, and obviously I told him I got released, and he was shocked. But yeah, there was no support. Probably even in my adult life, I don't think I've had depression that bad. doing something consistently for 9 years of your life and it just stops and there's no explanation, there's no thoughts, there's no anything. Yeah, it was very tough.
For many players, release is not just an end of a contract. It's the end of structure, identity, or routine. 55% of release players report clinical levels of distress within just 4 weeks of being released.
My dad, towards the end of my Reading tenure, he would go and sit in the car because he knows that when he's on the side, he would literally crumble. Even the other parents, I'll hear them. Obviously, I've had times I played very, very well. Most of my season was very, very well. But when I played bad, I played really bad because I would lose all sort of confidence. I would start hiding on the pitch. And there was no one, obviously, I was just a child. All of this happened way before I was 18. So there was no place where someone could sit me down and tell me how to actually go through all these, or obviously how to process all of this. It was the kind of thing where, what was drilled into you, don't make mistakes. Good players don't make mistakes. Like, if you're good, you will never make a mistake. And obviously, yeah, I felt like if I made a mistake, that was a representation of my self-worth. If I wasn't good as a person. Obviously now growing up, I know that wasn't it, but obviously back then, I didn't have any support from, my family or my club to show me that it wasn't that case.
In 2020, that distress became devastatingly real. Jeremy Winson, a promising centre-back at Manchester City's Academy, took his own life after being released. He was just 18. Jeremy's story is the most tragic. Many others suffer silently. Some withdraw from family, others experience depression, anxiety, or substance use. And many, especially those from African or ethnic minority backgrounds, carry it all in silence, as they are never taught that it's okay to ask for help.
When I left Reading, I was severely depressed, and that's me being completely honest. I would go to school, and obviously my area is not very big, so obviously everyone would come to me and say, "Oh, you were what happened? You're the footballer. And in my school, I was known as the Reading guy. So to go in and not be the Reading guy, people were saying, "What's going on? Where are you playing?" Some people made fun, and obviously all of this is happening when I'm still young. My dad is not even talking to me because he's heartbroken as well. Obviously, he will travel here, and for him to stop as well, it probably hit him hard as well. He didn't talk to me for about a week afterwards. My mum was more supporting, but I feel like one of the main things my parents told me is that you got released because you didn't listen. Like, if you had listened like the other boys, you would still be there. And obviously, hearing that from your own support is very damning. Like, it doesn't even give you the confidence to really bounce back, which I didn't. Obviously, I went to QPR a week afterwards and played well in the game. I actually scored, but I got told that they wouldn't be offering me any. And my dad said in the car, he said to me that I don't even want to look at you or speak to you. I don't even want to look at you, speak to you. This is how could you play like this? Do you understand? Like, imagine being at Reading, you have to go back to Sunday League. It's an embarrassment. Football's not for you. And yeah, my dad after the QPR game, in my whole 6-7 years after where I played, he didn't attend one game. He never watched me play after that. So yeah, it was very, very damning. I think my especially in the culture that we're in, it kind of it's all about comparing. So this boy's done this boy's done this. Let's say for example, my dad is very, like I said earlier, my dad's very good friends with Bakaya's dad. Obviously seeing on what Bakaya's going to achieve, I was always getting compared to that, like, he's at this, you could have been there. He's there, you're good enough to do this. He's there. Do you understand? And obviously that kind of puts your own self-worth in question when, your own parents are leaving you.
Ruyi's story is not rare, yet we still don't talk about the loss that it does to a young man's mental health. Every year, there's new players coming through the system, but behind every player is a family. For many African parents, football's a hope, a way out. But mental health, that's a conversation many are still learning to have.
Mental health, what? We see it as a lack of resilience. We see it as if you go to Africa and see the real suffering of people in Africa, you will not be talking about mental health. We see it as a generation that's not being built on the importance of resilience. So that's the average African perspective when you talk around mental health.
Yeah, I feel like my dad's very hard. So obviously, as the years gone, he's open. We had more talks about my time at Reading, but at the time, it was kind of like after Reading, we didn't talk about football at all. For him, he took me getting released harder than I did, and I feel like obviously because my mum wasn't too tapped into my football, and my dad was kind of the only one that could kind of understood the broader picture. For him to kind of dismiss that and kind of, give up on my career when I was 14, 15 is, very, very, it's kind of speaks to the toughness that happens in African parents. African parents, they like comparing to our own children. Maybe that's uncles or aunties. So he probably looked at Bakayo, for example, and said, look at Bakayo, he's going straight through at Arsenal, you should be the same. When obviously Bakayo accounts for the 0.001 of footballers.
I like that you said that when you were younger. Did you ever have times where you felt like your parents would, not guilt trip you in a sense, but use stuff like, they're not allowed to go to church, or that they're having to take time off of work to take you to games and stuff like that?
A bit bad, then he would be like, I took time out of church today to take you to football and you perform like this, like that's not acceptable. But as you get older, I think they start to calm down.
In the UK, Black and African heritage communities are more likely to suffer from mental health problems, but far less likely to get help. While 23% of Black adults report depression or anxiety every week, only 6% receive treatment. And when the support does come, it often comes too late. Black people are 3.5 times more likely to be detained under the Mental Health Act. Many only access care through the justice system, and in African households, the silence runs even deeper.
I think especially in an African background, I would say they don't believe in mental health. They just think what is that rubbish? You should be happy. You should be happy naturally. But yeah, I would say it doesn't really get spoken about in my household anyway.
I feel like for years and even now, I have a lot of self-confidence problems, doing things, because I feel like, for me, at the back of my head, whenever I do something, is my dad's voice from when I was 9 years old saying, if you're not perfect, you're not good. If you're not perfect, you're a terrible person. If you're not perfect, if you make mistakes, you're not good. So whenever I do something or a project and it's not perfect, I try not to do it. That's why I procrastinate a lot of the things I'm meant to do, because I feel like if I procrastinate, that won't lead to me failing.
Football teaches discipline, skill, and ambition, but it rarely teaches boys how to be vulnerable or how to ask for help. To change football, we must also change what we value. It's not just about the goals and the trophies, but well-being, voice, and care. Shane is still chasing the dream. Ruyi is rebuilding his. And parents, like many, are learning to listen in new ways. It's time to break the silence and rewrite the story.